we're moving to Texas, Dallas to be specific, and it is January 4th. So back in August, I started back with the idea that we're going to be moving. I need to relocate. I need to get out of New York City. Yeah. Are you gonna be in love with me? I want you and need you to be. Yeah. So, documenting this journey, y'all, look, 7 hours and 34 minutes since the last time I showed you guys that I started this course. And this is like a real eye-opener because, number one, when God tells you to do something, you do it. Like, you don't hesitate, you don't delay. Disobedience is still disobedience. It is best to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. God gave me the clarity, the confirmation that this new season I will not be in New York, that I will be in Texas. And he has given it to me multiple times and has given me instruction on how I'm going to get there. And yet it is November 17th and I've only gotten 7.5 hours of this course done. And I don't want to say I'm behind, but I'm now playing catch up. Today being Monday, November 17th, I am going to get through at least this. I have 9 chapters. I need to get through this in the next 2 weeks. So by the end of next week, I should be done with this first course. So yeah. And the thing is, it's happening. All the pieces have been put into play and it is really, really, truly happening. And no matter how nervous I am, the only way it's not going to happen is if I just stop and I just say, no, God, I'm not going, I'm not doing it. But I'm not there. I want to go. I need to get out of the wilderness that I'm in. I need to move on and into this new season. And I need to be ready. I just need to be ready. So, yeah.
Of course. All ACS and Reservations Division employees assigned the responsibilities of a complaint resolution official, CRO, are required to complete this training prior to assuming their duties as a CRO. In ACS, this includes operations support managers, OSMs, and red coat agents at the airport.
Okay, so we have to get this done because it is January 4th. We're exactly 1 month away from my son turning 2, which is kind of crazy. Can't believe 2 years has gone by already, but to God be the glory. So as you guys have already heard from the beginning of the video, I am relocating my whole life, my family. Yeah, we're getting up out of here. And I was always going to document the journey, but one of my friends, one of the only persons who really knows that I'm leaving, she encouraged me to, just document and vlog it. And so the very first video, which this video will not go live until I moved in, but I wanted to just start the process. And so I said I will do a 3 to 5 minute update every month until we move. 30-minute video, nothing too long or too crazy, but just showing the process of literally a single mom, because I am now a single mom again, relocating with 3 kids to a whole new state with no family, no friends. I know nobody where we're going, but we're doing it. And so yeah, I've always had that in my mind, but because of personal reasons, my dad getting sick and me having to be home to help my parents out, I kind of just put it on the back burner. But now I just feel like it now is the right time. And so in September, when I went to the Real Estate Bestie Conference, is when it was confirmed for me, you're leaving New York and that's it. So yeah, I started making a list of places to where we can, where I would want to live or at least start out. And so we'll just outline some things that were important for me and my family. So I've never relocated out of New York. I've always lived here. So this is a first for me. So the number one thing was going to Texas and seeing the area. So I've visited Dallas before just to visit. But when I went back in October, it was to like, okay, I visited 3 times or whatever. And now we're here again for the 4th time. Like, let's explore. Let's go, tour some apartments. So I started touring apartments back in October. And we stayed in an Airbnb instead of staying in a hotel. And just so we can get a feel of the area. The first area that we stayed in was Arlington. I believe it was Arlington, which it was 15 minutes from the airport, which for me is important because, as you guys know, I am dual career. So I am a real estate agent and I am in the process of getting my Texas license. But I also work for a major airline, and so I'm going to be transferring that job just so I can have a little bit more stability and security, because I refuse to be struggling. Y'all know I do not believe in that struggle life at all. So that was the first thing I did, was just kind of just went to go visit, scope out the area, see if I even like it. The next thing that I needed to do was to figure out where my kids were going to go to school. So my 2 oldest kids one is in high school, and my daughter, she's going to high school in September. And so they'll be at the same high school. And I just wanted to make sure that they were in a high school that is, well, I just want to make sure they're in a high school that is diverse, that has a good record and a good area in case, they do start, in case when they do start driving, they drive themselves to school. So all of those things. And so that is kind of how I have been centering my search. So right now, currently, even though we saw a couple back in October, I have 8 apartment communities that I want to visit and ask questions and get a feel for. I'm going to go take a trip to Texas by myself without the kids. I'm going to go for 2 days, and I'm going to start in Frisco. So Frisco will be the first area that I start in, just again exploring, looking at apartments, going to the high schools, talking to parents and teachers, doing a little bit more research about the areas around the high schools in that area. But the first thing is to find a high school. So find a high school that's not too far from the airport, because again, I'm going to be working at the airport and I don't want to be more than 30 minutes with traffic away from my kids, because obviously they'll be most likely home because I work a later shift. I like working a later shift. So yeah, so that is just the update for January. Working on my Texas license. I did not do any of the courses in December, so I have a lot of catching up to do. Starting tomorrow, I plan on at least trying to get through a section a week. So for Texas, it's 6 30-hour courses. And so if I do 5 hours a day, at least every week, I could get through it in the next 6 weeks. So that is a plan. That is a goal. And I'm going to hold myself accountable, So when I come back with the update in February, we should be mostly done with the Texas licensing course. So I can move on and do my Texas test, because I have a New York license. I don't necessarily have to do like the national portion of the exam, just the state. So that was a huge blessing, because not that I'm not a good test taker, but I hate taking tests. But I could take them and I pass. So